Greetings and hello there, everybody. It's me, your beloved Star Wars Dad, Nooch Too Good. And the Peridea Patrol is once again upon us here in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And so I thought it'd be a good time. I've really been thinking about talking about the Peridea Patrol and also the Duel of the Fates assault battles. And yeah, it doesn't quite fit there, but don't sue me because I'm gonna work on a, I'll get it. Anyway, it's there. It's a little bit too big. We're gonna be fine. You're all fine here. Thanks. How are you? Anyway, Peridea Patrol and Duel of the Fates assault battles, are they now required farming for all accounts, some accounts, maybe beginner accounts, mid game, whatever? When should you farm these? How valuable are they? And what should I don't know. That's my question. That's the question. I got no more of the question to add, so let's stop asking the questions. So let's take a specific look at Peridea Patrol right here. And of course, we have all the different tiers with all the possible rewards. And the first thing that really sticks out with both of these battles, both Peridea Patrol and both the Paw Patrol and Duel of the Fates, is all of the credits you're going to get. 2 million, 4 million, 6 million, 11 million, 16 million, and there'll be another 5 million here. So there are, 21 million credits available throughout this, and even through the beginning stages, you're getting a lot of credits, and that actually matters as far as like new players upgrading their roster, or you upgrading your roster, or even farming mods. Those credits really come into play. So the first thing we notice is the credits, and also for both these assault battles in the first two tiers, you're going to be getting more shards of these characters from the first two tiers. So that's true of both of them. I do have the assault battle rewards loaded up here. We'll pull back to that in a moment. I think we can cover the first few tiers here, tier 1, 2, and 3, pretty easily by talking about it's the same thing. Character shards and credits in the first two tiers. Tier 3 for both. This is a big deal. You get the characters to 7 stars, gear 8, 9-ish, somewhere in that range. If you can take them to gear 8, you don't have to spend any Chirotex to do that. Gear 9 would require some Chirotex. I need to do some testing with the Peridea Pals on tier 3 and see if I can do it all at gear 8. Regardless, it's not going to take massive upgrades to get you all of these mod materials twice a month, once in Duel of the Fates and once in Peridea Patrol. So they're both really valuable when it comes to farming mods and getting these 6-dot mod conversion tools and just mod slicing tools in both these assault battles. So that's really great as well in both Peridea Patrol and Duel of the Fates assault battles. Now, here we get to a little bit of a difference. We get to Tier 4, and for the Peridea Patrol, I'm going to say Peridea Patrol a lot today. You have to get used to it, and I'm not saying PP Patrol because I'm not that. I'm a mature fella. As you guys have seen throughout this channel, all the way from the beginning to now, I'm a super mature guy. I keep it above board. I'll stop. Okay, anyway, so for the Peridea Patrol in Tier 4, you're getting one, by the way, it's one of these two, not both of them. You get one of these two Chirotex. You do get all of this stuff, and, well, you actually get one of... The mods is the only place I think you get all the stuff. So you get all the stuff in the mods, but here you start getting a choice, one of these two, and we'll do it here in a second, and we'll go through these rewards. But it's Chirotex. It's 45 Chirotex. Now, how valuable is that in the game? Well, I think for people that are getting started, people that are Lightspeed bundle farming and still have a lot of stuff to unlock in their roster, these Chirotex can be super duper valuable. Now, I've had people come at me on Peridea Patrol that are like end game players tell me, you're a fool. Duel of the Fates is so much more valuable than Peridea Patrol because they don't need Chirotex, and they view this whole tier 4 as just a waste of time. They don't need credits. They don't really need 100 crystals. They don't need Chirotex. But for earlier game players that need Chirotex, I think this is still really, really valuable. And you look at this, if it takes you, you've got to get them to Relic 5 to do this tier. Look at the required units. Yeah, you got to have them at, I wish it would say here. It doesn't say anymore, but you got to have them at Relic 5 here to do this tier. And so Relic 5 for these 3 characters, that's going to be 1,200 Chirotex. So, yeah, 1,200 Chirotex, 45 a month. Oh boy, calculator time. Let's get the calculator out. I'm gonna get this exact. I don't want to ballpark this for you guys. I know you'll get all wound up about it. 1,200 divided by 45 is 27 months. So it's gonna take you quite a while to recover all the Chirotex you're gonna spend on this. Although you can refresh it and cut it down to 13 months which we'll talk about. We're going to get to the refreshes here in a moment. Now, let's take a look at the Duel of the Fates Assault Battle for that same tier, Tier 4. Here you're getting signal data. You get one of these 3. You're getting one of these 4, what do we call this? Relic materials, relic upgrading materials. You'll always get the credits and the crystals. So I think a lot of people would lean a lot more on the bronzium wiring, carbonate circuit boards. All these are much. I don't know if these chromium transistors have 0 value, but these are valuable, and of course the signal data is more valuable than So I do think I give the nod here to Duel of the Fates, and we'll talk a little bit more about why I do think Duel of the Fates is a more bang for your buck assault battle, which we'll talk about in a moment. So there's difference in the rewards here at Tier 4. Here at Tier 5, I think this is the same thing. Let's go look at this. That's the same thing. Let me just pull it up again. Signal data. Actually, instead of signal data here, you're getting the relic upgrade materials, and you have a chance of getting this chromium transistor, which you can get these. You can see I've got 900 of them. You always have these if you're doing the game right. Anyway, I'd say watch another video. Watch my gear farming video for that. So gear farming, go watch it. 2024. I haven't done 2025 yet. Yeah. So the same as there for the final tier stuff. But yeah, you're getting signal data over here. I think that probably the signal data is a little more valuable than this other stuff too. Although I love getting me some bronzium wiring. I'm a huge fan of that. And then Tier 9, which I don't have unlocked on either one. We can jump over to the web for that. Tier 9 is going to give you on Duel of the Fates either Gerda keypads or droid brains. Now the thing is, for a lot of endgame players, people have been playing for a long time. People that played through the Challenge Rancor Pit Raid, right? That gave away a lot of droid brains. So those players have a lot of droid brains. So people at the end game are looking, I don't need droid brains, I need Gerda keypads. So just keep that in mind. But the rest of us all, if you weren't here for that or your account wasn't open for that, you need some droid brains. And then we go down here to this. It's the same thing, except they've also thrown Omicrons. Just keep in mind, guys, you're going to get one of these 3. One of these 3. So that's something to keep in mind. So there's the differences with the actual rewards themselves. I was meant to keep my phone open. Here we go. Let's talk about something here let's talk about the farming paths. I think it's important to talk about how to farm these characters and why I think that makes Duel of the Fates more valuable than Peridea Patrol. So if we look at our Poncho Bros, Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan, these guys are farmable on Cantina nodes, and that actually is a big difference. And Cantina nodes are automatically easier to farm than regular nodes. You can get a character 12, 15 shards a day, even on single node, or 24 to 30 shards a day, maybe even a little bit more, probably more in the, I think 15 to 30 range. If you refresh it 3 times a day, you can get these characters. If you get 15 shards a day, you're looking at 22, 23 days to unlock some, and less than a month to unlock them. And that's assuming if you don't have any shards to start with, right? If you already had shards to start with, it's going to be even shorter. So you could get these guys both to 7 stars. If you're sitting there with both of them at 4 stars right now, which I know a lot of you are, and I'm looking at your rosters. I've looked at 620 rosters so far just this year, and I know that you guys are sitting on 4-star Poncho Bros. So if you want to get them to 7-star, you're looking at like a month and a half max if you refresh this 3 times a day, and that's not that long of a time. Whereas with the Peridea pals, if you look at those guys, they're on regular energy nodes, and when you look at a regular energy node, they're all on it. Trust me, that's going to be, if you got them at zero, it's a 6-month farm from 0. So these guys are going to take you a lot longer to farm. A lot longer to farm than it takes for the Duel of the Fates, which leads us to another question: when are these characters becoming double shard farmable? So we go look at the marquee schedule. Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan dropped on May 9th and May 23rd, 2024. So we can say it usually is at about the 1-year mark. Sometimes a little before, sometimes a little after. It's about at the 1-year mark that a character becomes double shard farmable, which will make Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan even more available. Like you can farm them both in a month or less from scratch. And so, you know, getting both those characters in a month or less for scratch and then, you know, gleaning all these huge rewards from an assault battle is kind of a massive, massive deal. Now, obviously, you got to relic them up to get the end, but you know what I'm saying. You get the idea. I don't have to explain it in depth to you. So, come this May, we should have Come This May. Name that movie. Get in the comments. Ewan McGregor's in it. Name this movie. I'm very hoarse right now, or I'd really nail that. It's been a while. Anyway, Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan are coming out in May. There'll be double drops. Night Trooper in July. Death Trooper and Captain Enoch in August. So we're looking that by this August, we should have all of these characters double drop. Now, what does double drop mean when you go look at the Pretty Pals? Because I already said you can probably, when they're double drop, farm Captain. If you do 3 refreshes a day on your Cantina energy, there's no Captain involved on the. It's so hard to go back and forth. Duel the Fates, Peridea Patrol. Duel the Fates, Master Qui-Gon, Padawan Obi-Wan. You can farm them both in less than a month together if they're on double drops and you refresh 3 times a day Cantina energy. For the Peridea Patrol, it's going to be a little bit different. If you have them at 0 today, instead of 6 months, it'll take you 3 months. If you've already got some shards, you're looking at somewhere in 2 months to get them all to 7 stars. If you do this, if you're going to refresh the node, you can do it quicker as well. So, generally speaking, that is why I look at the Duel of the Fates, Master Qui-Gon and Padawan Obi-Wan as much more viable and more bang for your buck out of these assault battles because you can farm them and get to them faster. Now you sacrifice about a month and a half of single data farming, so you got to weigh that out with your roster. But you're going to be single data farming on, so you got to weigh that out. I do believe, and I'll say this again, that anybody that's out there buying all of the bundles, if you're buying all or the majority of bundles, or you plan to buy the bundles, in spurts as you go throughout the year, and if you're buying bundles, you should be farming both the Duel of the Fates and Peridea Patrol assault battles. You just should be. You buy the old stuff, you farm the new stuff. You buy the old stuff, you farm the new stuff. Okay, let's get to these rewards here a little bit, and that's going to get us to, So let me do it this way. So we're going to go through Tier 1, and an important thing to notice here is that you can refresh each of these nodes, and this is true for both Peridea Patrol and Duel of the Fates assault battles. This will be the last thing we talk about today. You can refresh these. I don't think these are worth refreshing. I've never really thought you don't want to spend. We're going to say that 1,000 crystals is $7. It's somewhere in that range. $7 American. I don't think that 15 shards of one character is worth $7. So I would not refresh these ever. The credits are even lower than at the end. Now your mods for $7 for these kind of mods, actually it's lower. 749 crystals. Let me go look and check that crystal value here. I didn't realize it was even lower. 749 crystals is like $5.50, $5.75 American. That's not a bad little deal there when you look at a refresh for those types of mods. So I would say for $5, $5.50, $6, but that's a really good refresh deal. If you're gonna refresh anything, that's a really good refresh deal right there, for sure. Look at Tier 4. We look at the same thing if we get these rewards. You can refresh it for that $7.50 American. If you look out today, there are the Chirotech bundles are out there. Let's go pull those up. I think they're out there. Yes, there we go. So here you're going to pay on the 664. That one is $7.50 to refresh. For $664, you get 70 Chirotechs. They changed this. Okay, this used to be 25 of each and then 20 of a random one. Now they just gave you 35 of each. Okay, so 70 Chirotechs for $660. You're going to get more out of doing it this way than you will for the Peridea Patrol. Now, if we look at it with the Duel of the Fates assault battle for that Tier 4, that to me would be worth a $7.50 refresh. You're running the risk of chromium transistors, which is kind of challenging. If you get anything except chromium transistors, you get one of these for. That seems to me to be worth the refresh there for the Duel of the Fates more than it is for the Peridea Patrol. Let's jump back in here to the assault battle itself. Okay, if we're looking at Tier 5 for this one, again, guys, look, so I got droid brains. I got my Bronzian wiring. That's what I want. So like I mentioned, you get one of each of those. You get one of these first 3. You get one of these 4. For $750, that's gonna be worth your refresh. I guess if you're all full up on droid brains in your end game, probably not. But that's not a bad place to refresh there on that node. And we looked at the final node, which I don't have open here, but that's also going to be worth a refresh. Here on Pretty Patrol, you're looking at, you might get some Omicrons out of it. So you do have the opportunity to refresh these assault battles as well, which you don't get for the original assault battles, and those can provide a lot of value to Duel of the Fates and Peridea Patrol as well. Let me make sure I got everything covered. Yes, event refreshes, mods we covered, reward differences, farming differences, double drop release dates. Yep, we got everything covered. That's everything. So should you farm Peridea Patrol and Duel of the Fates? I believe everybody should be farming Duel of the Fates. I actually think you should be farming Executor and Duel of the Fates like side by side. I really do. And I think when we start coming out with new farming guides, it's going to include that for sure, especially when they're double drops. You can get those guys unlocked fast. And I'm going to start leaning really heavily into Peridea Patrol for all. These are great rewards. These rewards are going to these are going to pay off. It's somewhere, the math has been done, somewhere in the 8 to 10 month range. You pay off all these rewards except these Chirotechs. It is well worth it. These assault battles are tremendous, both of them. I think they're both great farms. And again, if you're buying Lightspeed bundles, you're buying all the old stuff, so let's farm all the new stuff. Let's farm Peridea Patrol and Duel of the Fates on your Lightspeed bundle account. That's all we got for today, folks. I hope everybody has a great day. I will definitely talk to you soon. And always remember, Nooch too good.